How's it going, Knicks fans? Welcome back to another episode of Fireside Knicks. I'm your host, Dylan Backer, and I'm joined by my brother and co-host, Justin Backer, and we got another frustrating Knicks loss to talk about today. The Knicks lost the first game of the in-season tournament to the Milwaukee Bucks by a score of 110 to 105. Now, I don't really understand the whole in-season tournament thing. I just viewed this as another regular season game, but it was still a very, very frustrating loss. Before we get into the recap, Jalen Brunson, you are free from criticism this episode. You basically gave us everything you had. You gave me Game 6 versus Miami flashbacks, so he's free from criticism in this episode. But before we talk about anybody else, I'm just going to pass it off to Justin, let him give us, his recap, his takeaways, anything else he wants to add. So go for it, my man. We got a lot to talk about in this one.
Yeah, obviously you said Jalen Brunson is free from criticism today, and I agree. 45 points, 17 to 30 from the field, clutch buckets down the stretch. Really was the only reason the Knicks were even in this game, in a game they quite frankly had no business being in. Yeah, just a phenomenal performance from him. Vintage Brunson, really. We hadn't really seen something like this from him really all season, aside from the Atlanta game. We were starting to question, if he was off to a slow start because of the FIBA Cup and stuff like that. But this performance just kind of proved to me that he's back and he's ready to have another big season, so I'm no longer worried about him. This was just a great performance from him. Quentin Grimes actually had a really good game too. 6 for 11 from the field, 5 for 10 from 3, 17 points. He finally showed some of that aggression that we've just been waiting to see from him. So just a really great game overall from the backcourt. Really, Brunson and Grimes were just pretty phenomenal in this game. Really, this is exactly what you want to see from them on a nightly basis. And now, unfortunately, we got to get into the bad stuff. So, Julius Randle. That's really all I got to say. Julius Randle. I've defended him for so long. I can't do it anymore. I can't defend him anymore. This is just bad. This is just bad basketball all around. Every game I think it's not going to get worse, and it gets worse. I'm really concerned with him at this point. 5 for 20 from the field again, 16 points, 12 rebounds. Obviously it's another double-double, but this is just bad. This is just bad basketball. He came out in this game looking somewhat okay. His energy levels were high. He was scoring decently. I believe he started 2 for 6, which not great, but for his standards, what we've been seeing, that's pretty good. And then kind of ruined the entire first half by just having an abysmal second quarter. And then the second half was just more of the same story, and it's frustrating to see this, man. It's really frustrating. I believe he's shooting 26% from the field this season. He's only averaging 13 points. This is just bad. I really don't know what else to say. He's hurting the Knicks badly. His performances they're just hurting the Knicks. There's really not much else I need to say about it. He's hurting the Knicks. I'm disappointed. I really am because, I've defended him for so long. This is a guy who's made 2 All-NBA teams, and, I don't really know what's going on with him. He seems like he's in his own head just so badly, and I'm really starting to question, what the Knicks ceiling is with him, because I've said that he's important to what the Knicks do, but how much longer can you put up with a guy who goes through these stretches where he's just in his own head so badly and he hurts the team this badly? I really don't know how much longer the Knicks can kind of put up with that. You know what I mean? This is just I'm just being brutally honest. I like Randle as a player. I hate to see this, but I just got to be brutally honest about it. It's really bad. It's bad basketball to watch. It's not, his process hasn't been good. I don't know, man. And towards the fourth quarter, it looked like he started to wake up a little bit. He hit a couple clutch shots down the stretch, some big shots to get the Knicks within 1 even at one point. And then after Jalen Brunson hits a go-ahead 3, Randle ruins it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's bad. It's just bad all around. Randle's not the only one, so I'm not just going to make this a Julius Randle sucks episode. He's not the only one. The entire Knicks offense, really, aside from Jalen Brunson, is not safe from criticism. This team cannot shoot from 3 at all. Another just dreadful performance from the field. Under 40% from the field yet again. That's the 3rd time, I believe, already this season that they've done that in just 6 games, which is that's just horrible. And they only shot 25% from 3. I mean, you're not going to win games doing that. This team can defend. We know the team can defend, and that's what keeps them in the games. That's what kept them in the game today, aside from Jalen Brunson's 45. But you're not going to win a lot of games, especially a lot of close games, shooting numbers like that as a team. It's dreadful to watch, and it really starts with Randle, really. If Randle turns it around, I mean, these numbers look a whole lot better if Randle isn't 5 for 20. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't want to make this just all about Randle, but he's supposed to be the team's best player, and he's playing like the team's worst player. So I don't really know what much else to say about that. Obviously, it's still very early, and he can turn it around, but I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to say that. I can't come into every episode, every game, and be like, "Oh, it's still early. He's going to turn it around." It's becoming a tired statement. You know what I mean? He needs to show us something, and he's not showing us anything. So I don't know. Those are just my main thoughts on this one, man.
Yeah, first off, I thought you had excellent takeaways. I thought they were, honest, which is what we come on here to do. We come on here to be honest. We're not, gonna sugarcoat anything or, make the Knicks seem better than they are or worse than they are. If we see it, and that's how we're gonna talk about it. And, with Julius Randle, the one word I can use to describe it, it's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. Me and Justin both have defended Randle for really as long as he's been a Knick, except for his first year, because his first year as a Knick, he was pretty bad. But ever since 2021, his first All NBA season, me and Justin have defended him to the core. We've said he's very important to win. Even in his not so good 2021 to 2022 season, we still felt like he had a good chance to bounce back, and he did that last season. Now, right now, though, this is some of the worst stretch of basketball I've ever seen from him. A couple games, I expect some players to struggle at times. Players are going to have struggles and they're going to have slumps where they, a couple games stretch where they're not playing very well. This is going on a little bit too long, though. And it's to the point where it's a little concerning now. First 5 games if the first 5 games were not concerning enough, now it's extremely concerning. Shooting 27% from the field and 22% from three through the team's first 6 games, that's just unacceptable. From your team's supposed to be best player. Your lone all-star technically last season and your lone all NBA player. You need better production from that. It's as simple as that. And like you said, sure, he's averaging a double-double right now, 13 and 10. It's meaningless. I'm just being honest. It's meaningless. If it's, right now, what he is doing, it's not contributing to winning. It is straight up meaningless. Against Cleveland, there were some plays you could have questioned his effort a little bit. It clearly did not look like he was playing 100%. Tonight, it looked like his energy was a little bit better, but his process was horrendous. And that's something that he took a step back from in the first 2 games. Because the first 2 games, sure, his efficiency was bad, but I thought his process was all right. He wasn't turning it over a whole lot. He wasn't, taking horrible shots. They just weren't falling. He's taken a complete step back, though. Now his shot IQ is horrendous. He's taking so many low percentage shots. He's turning the ball over a little bit more. He's trying to be, the point guard or the ball handler, if you will. Even though he's a 6'10" power forward or 6'9", excuse me, but still, you get the point. He's not a point guard, and it seems like he's trying to take over as an isolation point guard. We've seen that all the time from Randle, with the whole isolation stuff. But now it's getting to a level where the league seems like they figured him out. It feels like at this point, he can't get any good looks. It feels like every shot he takes is some low percentage look. Even if he makes it, it feels like it's some highly contested, very low percentage look, something that he kind of had to kind of trudge his way into and kind of find a way to get the bucket instead of, having good process and finding a good way to, get an open look, whether it's by himself creating it or, having his teammates create it for him or run some better plays than one-on-one isolations every single play, because I'm getting sick of seeing that, and on the broadcast, JJ Redick even alluded to it, that the Knicks run way too much ISO ball, and then they're not moving off the ball enough. And he's right. He's 100% right. And, I know most Knicks fans already see that, but he's right. It's true. They're not moving around enough. They're not getting good enough looks. They're relying on one-on-one ball from Randle and Brunson to, pretty much be their offense. And, sure, Brunson had 45 tonight and did his thing and pretty much almost carried us to a win against, a title favorite. Cool. But you're not going to win many games with that kind of strategy. We know Tom Thibodeau is not like a offensive-minded coach. We know he's a big defensive-minded coach. You're not going to get some crazy offense produced from Tom Thibodeau. We know that. But in this NBA, there needs to be something better drawn up, because I feel like what the plays that they are running right now is just, it's not working. And the stats will tell you the same thing. They rank in the bottom in field goal percentage, 3-point percent. Well, they're in the middle of 3-point percentage, but you get the point. Bottom in field goal percentage, middle in 3-point percentage, bottom in free throw percentage, bottom in true shooting. All that type of stuff will tell you that. You don't even need to look at the stats either. You can just look at the film and look for it yourself and see that all the shots they're taking are just bad. It's not good. It's horrible process. It's horrible looks. It's not good basketball. We expected better from this team. And yes, I know it's 6 games in. It's very early in the season. It is definitely not panic mode. I want to make that clear. We're not necessarily panicking over this. It's a hard fought loss against the title favorite. I'm glad that they at least stuck around and almost won this game. I'm at least, I can be content with that. I'm upset they lost the game because I felt like they kind of just let it slip away. I think personally they should have double teamed Damian Lillard on the shot that he hit that gave Milwaukee the lead back late in the fourth quarter, but that's up for another discussion. But overall, we all know that the flaws are in the offense and that they need to do something. And it definitely starts with Julius Randle. If your best player is playing this poorly on offense, what are you really going to expect out of the rest of the guys? You know what I mean? Randle's supposed to be the guy that is supposed to create for the other guys. He's the team's leading assist guy. So you're expecting him to create for his teammates, such as Grimes, Mitch, even Brunson, guys like that. And he's not doing that. He's not doing that. Sure, he's averaging 5.2 assists this season. But if he's not hitting his shots, why does it matter? If he's not hitting his shots, other teams are not going to take him seriously on offense. They're going to give him so much room, or they're going to make it difficult for him, force turnovers because it's pretty easy to do that with him, and all that kind of stuff. I don't mean to go on a rant too much. It's not supposed to be a Randall sucks episode, but we just got to be honest. It's getting ridiculous. A 6 game stretch of this bad of basketball, that it's got to end. At some point, when is he going to turn it around? You really got to wonder that. When is he going to turn it around? We've been saying it for so long that, this could be the game he turns it around. This could be the game he does it. He hasn't done it, and he hasn't really shown any signs of really kind of starting to turn it around a bit. It felt like today in the first half he had something going, and then I don't know what happened at the end of the second quarter, but he had a sequence of like 3 shots or something like that were just horrible, horrible shot attempts. I mean, that had to be one of the worst sequences that I've seen from a basketball team in a very long time. That was awful. And you could argue that that sequence right there killed any momentum they could have had that could have led them into the second half and get on a run that could have gotten them a lead earlier and that they wouldn't have had to rely on Brunson to get 45 to even have a chance. I think that's dreadful. That's pitiful. It's awful. I don't mean to rant too much. I want to pass it back off to Justin, let him get any other takeaways or any other rants or thoughts or whatever he wants to say, because I'm honestly fed up, so I want to pass it back to him and let him get his thoughts out. So go for it.
Yeah, I just want to touch on Randall one more time. This is the last thing I'm going to say about Randall this episode. This is not just a 6 game stretch, really, if we're being completely honest, because this is dating back to the playoffs of last year. I know he wasn't exactly healthy in the playoffs last year, but we're looking at like 15 games roughly of just poor play from him. So, I don't want to just give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, oh, it's only 6 games, because no, it's really not. This is dating back quite a while now. So, I don't know. It's just, and we've seen him go through stretches like this pretty often. So I don't know. I'm not really cutting him any slack here. I don't mean to be brutal on him because I do think he can turn it around and still be productive for the team. It can't possibly get any worse than this. So, that's the bright thing, I guess. It can't get any worse than this. It can only get better from here. At least I think. I've been thinking that after every game this season, and it hasn't gotten better. So I don't know how much worse it can get than this. I really hope I don't have to find out how much worse it can get than this. So, I don't know. That's the last thing I'm saying about him. But one player I do want to highlight who had a really underrated performance once again was Mitchell Robinson. He didn't score today, but he gave us 15 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, 9 defensive rebounds. He's just been very underrated this season. He's playing phenomenal to start the season, if we're being real here. He's just rebounding at a very high rate on both ends of the floor. Defense has been good. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Mitchell Robinson in a tough loss. He played his heart out today. So other than that, I don't really have much else to add to this. I think we all know the reason we lost this game, Randall. So I don't really think I need to go too much into this anymore. So that's kind of my final thoughts on this one.
Right, and I just want to highlight this as well. Most Knicks fans who do follow me and Justin on Twitter know that we're Randall defenders. We've defended him for as long as ever, and we've always said good things about him online and stuff, and even on the podcast as well, we've said good things about Randall. But we're not oblivious. We see what's happening, and we see that he is playing poorly, and when he's playing poorly, I can't defend it. And when he's doing things like, not playing strong defense or not giving 100% effort, I can't defend that. I'm not oblivious. I can't defend those kind of things. I can't defend a guy shooting 27% from the field, 22 from 3 through 6 games. I can't defend a guy who is, turning the ball over or making bad decisions, taking bad shots. I can't defend that. No matter how much I like the guy as a player and as a person, I can't defend that kind of play on the court, and it has to be better. It's as simple as that. I don't want to talk about Randle that much anymore, though. I do want to talk about some of the other players like you mentioned. Mitchell Robinson, absolutely agree with you on what you said. He was phenomenal yet again. Yes, he didn't score, but the rebounds is just, it goes a long way, man. Those rebounds, getting those offensive rebounds is essentially our offense right now because we get a lot of those points on second chance opportunities because of him. If he's not there getting those rebounds or fighting for him or, getting the offensive board, we would have like no offense at all. And we already have an abysmal offense as it is. We're already a bottom tier offense at the moment, and it would be even worse if it weren't for Mitch. I'm just being honest. Mitchell Robinson's the type of guy who isn't gonna put up a ton of points, but he's gonna get those rebounds and earn and get those other chances for other guys on the floor, such as Quentin Grimes, Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, the shooters, the outside guys. He's gonna get those. He's gonna give those guys the opportunities by getting all those rebounds. It goes a long way, and even fighting for the rebounds too. It helps the Knicks in transition defense as well. When you fight for the rebound, you're not just giving them easy rebounds to get easy, outlet passes. They're very nitpicky. I know it sounds very nitpicky, but it does go a long way, and I think it needs to be highlighted because those are very impactful things, on the basketball court, and impactful things that Mitchell Robinson does. Isaiah Hartenstein, he didn't play a whole lot today, but overall in the season, I've been impressed with him. The front court, except for Julius Randle, has been very, very good this season. So, I applaud those two for that, especially. Josh Hart has now started 2 games in RJ Barrett's place, and I'm just gonna be honest, I haven't seen much from him. It kind of just feels like he's just there. Yes, he's doing good on the rebounds. I'll give Josh Hart that. He's fighting for the rebounds. He's getting rebounds. I will say that at least. I'm not going to sit here and act like he isn't doing those types of good things. But offensively, I feel like he's not providing anything. And that's a problem. That's where you need RJ Barrett. That is where we are missing him badly. And I know it's just 2 games, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he is able to play again in the next game, and we could get back to our regular 9-man rotation and not have to worry about playing shorthanded. But man, that is where we miss RJ Barrett, because RJ Barrett will provide some offense to that level, to a better level than Josh Hart can. And we gave RJ Barrett a bunch of crap last year, and right before the playoffs and during the season. Right now he's the second best player on the team. He is. He is the second best player on the team at the moment, and right now that's where we need him. Some fans may say I've switched up. No, we're not switching up. It's just I'm seeing better play from him, which is what we wanted, and I want it to continue. And I hope when RJ Barrett comes back, he doesn't take a step back from, sitting 2 games. I hope he just continues right where he left off. Let that knee heal up all the way and then get back to where he was doing, where he was shooting the ball well, attacking well, defending well, especially. Those are some big things I noticed from him this season. I want all those things to, return when he returns, and I'm hoping that that is the case. And, overall, I mean, we need RJ Barrett back. We really need him back. It's a statement I did not think I was going to be saying during last season, but I'm saying it right now. We need him back badly. We really, really need him back, because without him, this offense is dreadful. It is basically just Jalen Brunson, some Emmanuel Quickly, and then not much else. That's basically the offense, and that's really all I got to say about that. I don't know if Justin's got any more final thoughts. If he's got anything else to say, I'm gonna give him the opportunity to speak up on it. So, okay, you don't got any more final thoughts. So, I guess we're just gonna wrap this up here. This was a very frustrating loss. It was, but again, I do want to say I respect the fight that they put up. Losing only by 5 to really the best team in the East, if you want to call them the best team in the East or the second best team in the East. That's up to you to decide. But a title contender at that. I respect the fight. I do wish they would have won this game. I felt like they very well could have. I feel like they kind of let this one slip away due to bad shooting and all that stuff. But, at the end of the day, it's just another game and it's on to the next one. That's really all we can do at this point. So hopefully the next game against the Clippers, which it's going to be James Harden's Clippers debut at the Garden. So it doesn't get easier. They got yet another tough matchup. They're going to have to deal with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and James Harden. So it does not get easier for them. But, hey, they're going to be up to the test. And if they want to prove themselves, they got to be able to beat these teams. It's as simple as that. We said that in the last episode, and I'm going to reiterate that again. So that's where we're at with it. But, guys, Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We really appreciate you guys' support. Let us know what you guys got to say about this game against the Bucks in the comments, or anything else you want to add about the Knicks' first game, 6 games so far. We would love to hear it. You can follow us on all of our social platforms. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Of course, this YouTube page that you're watching this on. The audio versions of these podcasts are going to be on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating on those. Our personal Twitter accounts are going to be above our heads. Make sure you guys follow us on there as well. We're very active and would love to talk basketball with you guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this YouTube video. And with that, we'll see you in the next Fireside Knicks episode. Peace out.